Well, Michelle, we're here and we're in a study, Modern Family, week 1. I've just challenged the guys on a few things, and I want you, from your perspective, I want you to challenge the ladies on a couple of things. First, what do you do each and every day to make God a priority in your life? What do you do?
Well, my first priority is to get up in the morning before everybody else does. That hadn't always been the case. When my children were younger, every time I tried to get up, I had little feet coming running through the hall or coming outside, wherever I may be. But for me, it's been to keep him first in my life. But I do have to be diligent and get myself up in the morning and do it. Or I tried it at night, and that didn't work either. I was too tired. But,
You know, as I watch you, and I've watched you many mornings, you'll go out to that place. Where's that place for you that you get away? Where is that place?
Well, on my back porch, we live on 10 acres, and I go out there and watch the sunrise every morning, and that's just my little sanctuary, I guess, that I can get away from everything, because if I stay inside, I see dirty dishes or dirty clothes or something like that, so I have to get away from everything to be able to focus.
Yes. From the wife's perspective, and I want you to be talking to the wives during this, our finances. Tell the church a little bit about us putting God first through our finances. Maybe a story, maybe something where we've really trusted God as a family. From your perspective,
Okay.
what advice would you give to the family that may have a dual income or a single income? What advice would you give, and we're a single income family, what advice would you give the wives of putting God first over your finances?
Well, I would have to say, know what you're doing. We haven't always done a budget. We still don't do the best budget. But if we know where our money's going and we tell it where to go, I have found over the last couple of years that that's what's worked for us. Before, Hal did all the finances. I didn't know, what was in the bank. I'd go, well, can I get groceries this week, or can I get this? And I really didn't know what was in there. But after a while, circumstances changed, I was able to take over the bills and stuff. But when you see where your money goes and you tell it where to go, I found that works good for us. And there's still some weeks where I'm saying, where's it going? Where's this going to go? Or what can we do to make it stretch a little bit longer, or a dollar or whatever. But for us, I guess a story would probably be with our rental houses.
Yes, I remember that.
When I started taking the bills on, I was like, well, where's the money going? Do you pay this? How do you pay the tithe? How do you do this? And long story short about the rental properties, we have 4 houses. And I said, well, whatever comes in from the rental houses, do we tithe on?
And I want to pause right there. I didn't have a struggle, but I had because we're charging rent for what our payments are on the houses. And Michelle approached me, and I remember you saying, are you giving 10% off of what we're taking in? And our motto's been, if you touch it,
you tithe.
Right. Tell a little bit about what happened when, I kind of shifted, your role with paying bills. You remember that? When you came to me and asked me about the finances, are you tithing on this income that we're receiving from the houses? And I said, it's not an income.
Right. And I said, oh, yes, it is. And
talk a little bit about what.
I just looked at it, even if it was, we didn't make the $50 a month or, whatever, that we would tithe on it. And I have to tell you, ever since I've been doing that, he's blessed us. He's kept people in there longer. We hadn't had as much destruction to the houses and stuff like that. Not to say it was before, bad, but, just letting him have control over it, really. Because we did touch it, and I didn't care how much it was.
Yeah, and that's been kind of a motto for us. If we touch it, we tithe on it, no matter if it's whatever.
Right.
Another question.
Mhm.
You know, we've got 4 kids, full-time ministry. You're leading a high school girls class on Sundays. You're involved in a Bible study fellowship ladies group that meets on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
We have Wednesday night activities. The boys, the kids are in sports.
I call them Clara.
Yes, Clara. Or Calgon, take me away, you know, but it's, how do we, priorities with you and I, putting God first, and you being second in my life, what do we do to keep our relationship at that second place spot? What advice would you give to the spouse, the wife of the family, in keeping that in the marriage with the business, because everybody's busy? What advice would you give from a wife's perspective of keeping the marriage, each other, in that number 2 spot? What advice would you give?
Well, I would have to say, for me personally, it would be the follow-up on the first one, is keeping God first and not having my expectations on how to meet my needs, or, you know, bring home the study or whatever it may need to be. But if I keep Him first in my life, I don't depend on so much how. Ministry-wise, doing the different things that I do, I've always said, and Hal knows this, years ago when he was called into the ministry, I was going this way, he was going this way with ministry. Our kids started coming along, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, what am I going to do? But I said from that day forward, when Hal was called, that my ministry was home first, and I would hold down what I could at home. And as long as I could, then it would, you know, when Hal came home or we had to do things with the church, I didn't have to always be there. I didn't have to always be present. My face didn't need to be there. My kids didn't have to be there all the time. Somebody had to do the house stuff. We had to, you know, take kids to, you know, ball practice or whatever. But if I didn't have my first, like I said, if I didn't have God first, and I had all my expectations towards my husband to take care of all that, and I didn't feed myself, then I would not be able to handle any of that.
What's some things we do as a couple that keeps you second place? From your perspective, from date nights to saying no, is there anything that comes to your mind?
No man.
Yeah.
Date nights, most definitely. Now that our kids are getting older and everything, we got older, you know, Emily and Maxon's able to keep my boys and stuff. And my mother, I'm blessed to have my mom.
Yeah.
But to be able to just get away. I have to tell Hal, let's go on vacation. Let's go to the lake, you know.
Vacation.
Let's move away from what we always do. Not that it's not good things, but I do, you know, I'm blessed to what Hal does, but at the same time, I know that I have to say, come on, let's go. Come, we're going, you know, we're going here, we're going there, whatever. So,
I'm going to go get her.
yes.
I'm going to go get her.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, I just want, from your perspective, how do you feel as a wife being second in the marriage?
Well, everybody likes to be second. If I did not have a godly husband, I might not be able to answer that question. But I feel that I do. And being second, I know that's the way it falls. And God is not ministry. God is His personal time. I know that He spends time in prayer. I know that He spends time in the Word. And therefore I had to do the same for myself. I didn't always do that. But I'd have to say being second probably bothered me in the past. But I have to say I'm better than I was yesterday.